We need to understand, black people, that the police department is not there to protect and serve us. They are there to prey on us. This is what I need blacks to understand about America and how we are treated in America. This is why you need to understand. This is where the frustration comes from when Europeans are dealing with blacks. It's because Europeans are nostalgia about the times that they could devalue our lives or just take our lives at will. Europeans understand that they need their dominance over us in order for them to excel. I find this very troubling. Some of you blacks are okay with our current condition and our vulnerability as black people, how easy it is to take our lives out, and how these people are sitting around continuously plotting against us, and we are making no preparations to defend ourselves against this.
Filled speech caught on a patrol car camera. Internal investigation accused officers Kevin Piner and Brian Gilmore and Corporal Jesse Moore of violating standards of conduct and using inappropriate slurs, including the N-word. Investigators say that Piner described killing black people in a new civil war, saying, quote, wipe them off the bleep map.
He sure is, Gail. Good morning. Donnie Williams is the first black police chief for the Wilmington, North Carolina Police Department. And this week was his first day on the job. And do you know what the first thing was that he did on his first day? He fired these officers. Chief, one of the officers wanted to resign, but you said, no, I'm going to fire you. Why?
Because people are tired of officers being involved in misconduct and walking away quietly. I wanted to fire them to make sure that their chances of being rehired again were minimized. These individuals do not deserve to be in law enforcement.
Documents released by the Wilmington Police Department state that the conversations were discovered during a routine video audit of Officer Piner's patrol car. He is heard telling Corporal Moore that he is, quote, ready for a civil war and plan to buy an assault rifle to, quote, start slaughtering them in words. During a phone call, Moore refers to a woman who he claims was resisting arrest as the N-word multiple times, and he says she needed a bullet in her head right then. Did these investigators, each officer admitted it was their voice on the video, but blamed their comments on the stress of the job, arising from the stress of today's climate in law enforcement.
What's the environment at this time? The environment was the protest for George Floyd murder. Black Lives Matter. So it is stressful to police officers that you have to abide by black civil rights. It is stressful to police that you have to afford blacks their constitutional rights, that you have to treat black people in a humane way. This is stressful to white people. And you will see repeatedly, this is something that black people have to deal with, is that white people feel they have a right or they have nostalgia from the time from when they could slaughter black people or do whatever they wish they could to us. At some point, you have to accept the mentality of these people and what is in their hearts and mind. It continuously comes out. They cannot hold it in. And the frustration from them having to conduct themselves in a civilized manner sometimes erupts. It erupts in mass murders. Them going to shoot up a whole grocery store. Understand, blacks are 13% of American population. That small percentage has their full attention. They cannot cope with you being this small percentage of America's population. They have done everything to dwindle your numbers and your percentages through mass migration from poor Europeans. All throughout the history of America, They cannot survive or deal with your mere existence. It's troubling to them.
Cold blood. I will articulate. I don't give a you kill a cold blood. I will articulate to fix the problem.
A shocking confession caught on tape as a Mississippi police chief brags about killing 13 people in the line of duty, all while using racist slurs.
I have shot and killed in the line of duty 13 different people. You shot that 19 times. Okay? I mean, I saved 67 kids, and the vehicle was shot 319 times. But he was hit 119 times. Bobby.
Audio obtained by the Mississippi.
This man said, I shot him 119 times. That man said we shot a car up 300 times. These are the police throughout America. If black men don't understand why it's so significant for you to start taking the security of your family, your community in your own hands, I don't know what to say to you. I'm starting to believe that you've been beat into submission. See, I'm starting to believe that you have an inferiority complex. You have a fear of these white people. You're not willing to stand up for anything. See, now I'm starting to look at other black men as cowards because we don't want to take up defense of our own communities. That's how I'm starting to see my own people.
For investigative reporting through civil rights organization Julian features a recording of Lexington Police Chief Sam Dobbins. The audio was obtained by another officer, Robert Lee Hooker, who called it, quote, appalling, racist, hateful, and detrimental to the welfare of the people. Hooker resigned from the Lexington PD last week, citing a toxic work environment. In late July, the Lexington Board of Aldermen voted to fire Dobbins. An interim police chief has since been appointed. For the latest developments in this case and anything true crime, stay with Law and Crime Network.
What makes you feel so comfortable that another Black Wall Street will not happen? That they will not come to your community, burn you down, and slaughter you in mass numbers? What makes black people feel so comfortable that this will not occur when you are continuously being slaughtered? And it is being filmed and placed on the internet for you to see repeatedly. You constantly see the police overlooking the attacks and the violence perpetrated on blacks when done by whites. What makes you so comfortable that a purge is not coming again? What makes you so comfortable that they are not preparing for a Holocaust when you see how consistent they fight for these weapons of mass destruction in each household? I don't know what got black men so comfortable to think that it is not necessary for you to provide the security for your own family and for your own community. I don't know what makes you have so much trust in these Europeans when they have repeatedly been shown that they are plotting to annihilate you. When they have worked economically, politically, and socially to destroy you and your people and your communities. Because you've seen a few who go and live in amongst them in their communities, do you know the ramifications and the effects on their children? Do you understand the psychology and the harm that causes their children to go to those schools and to be an outcast, to always be insecure about your skin color, all because your mother wants to move or your mother and father wants to move in the suburbs so they portrayed or looked at as successful, or so they to be looked at different than their people, while making you vulnerable to being slaughtered.
Colors. Check this out.
The first place I see, I've got the office numbers too. I mean, the first extension that Melvin Campbell or Lewis Texas called, First one I found. Period.com. I'm sick of it now. Sick of these black bastards. Well, they trying to clean the house and be done with it, period, and we'll start from there. What are they trying to say? It's just shit all the time. But from 2 weeks ago, when I got the mail on lead up till now, when I see the mail will call, mail will Campbell has called anybody, or anybody's called him, there it goes. Same to Louis Hatcher. This is Sabrina, whoever. They're gone. And I'm telling you, this is fair as I can be. Just giving you heads up, that's Kevin. When me and Boyd and Nancy go to it tomorrow, the first numbers we see, they ain't gonna make it, brother. I'm telling you. They might as well come somewhere else to go. If you ain't with me, I ain't referring to you, but if they're not with me, they're against me. And they're gone.
We have to understand that these people really want to exterminate black people. I don't understand why black people think that they have changed their mentality when they have shown you repeatedly through their actions that nothing about Europeans has changed from the 1800s. Nothing about them has changed as a collective. Yes, you have individuals that are okay human beings and are humane people. But they are far and in between because you see how comfortable they are with this racist rhetoric and talking about slaughtering and murdering other human beings amongst each other. This means that this is a social norm amongst white people for them to feel this comfortable. They do this routinely, and those so-called good white people who are related to them or friends with them are silent because they don't want to be an outcast. So they're overlooking your humanity when they're amongst their own and then come to you talking this white black ally bullshit. Talking to you about how things are getting better. No, they're just not in a position that they can do the things they want to because we're not in a position where we're going to tolerate as much as we once did. They can't do what they once did because of the mass media. There was no mass media at that time. Now it's too easy to expose who they are to the rest of the world. So them holding back who they are and their natural nature is eating them up. They are vile, violent people who want to inflict violence on another group of people strictly because of our color of our skin. This is who Europeans are as a collective, and I'm sick of black people acting as if they don't recognize this, and they attack you in every form, economically, politically, socially, as well as physically. We just really need to wake up and understand that we are not treated as citizens of America. We are treated as prey.
Last month, on March 6th, the McCurtain County Commission held one of their normal meetings, which are usually boring affairs for all the right reasons. But staff from the McCurtain Gazette News went to that meeting to cover it. And after the meeting, the longtime publisher of the paper, a man named Bruce Willingham, he decided he was going to do something out of the ordinary. He decided to leave a voice-activated recorder inside the room where the commission meets. And the reason he did that is because he suspected that the county commission in McCurtain County was continuing to do county business after the meeting had ended. And that would have been in violation of the state's Open Meeting Act. How you doing? My name is Antonio.
My YouTube page, Unapologetically Black 4209. Ask that you like and subscribe to the page and share this content. Oklahoma County sheriffs and other public officials were recorded discussing murdering a newspaper owner and his son, hiring a hitman, and they discussed the sheriff saying he wished he ran the sheriff department at the time when you could lynch blacks, saying he wished he ran the sheriff department when you can just beat blacks, throw them in the cell. Because you can't do that, he feel blacks have more rights than whites. This is what we have to understand about these people. They feel they are nothing unless they have the right to destroy and oppress you. They feel they are nothing without the ability to reign over black people. This is their whole identity. This is why it is impossible to integrate. This is why integration has been so harmful to black people, because all you have done was diluted your power and your resources to the point where you're getting nothing done, where you're no longer effective, and the only time you come together is when tragic is involved. Like the black extended family now, you only come together at funerals. That's what they have turned the black community into.
When you, but here we go. Here it is.
They're insignificant in my life.
Yes.
Really, they bring
The whole saying is, goes around. It will. I told you it will. Yeah. I know where two deep holes are here. I can't ask you better. These are already pre-dug.
I know where.
That is the sheriff saying he knows where two big deep holes is. The sheriff of that county is discussing murdering the publisher of the newspaper with the rest of the board for the county. He said, I know where there are two big holes at. So he's already has a preset location to throw bodies in if needed.
But the thing of it is,
We actually told the truth.
I've known 2 or 3 hitmen that are very quiet guys
Yeah.
and would cut no mercy
Yeah.
in Louisiana because it's all mafia around Louisiana.
Yeah, but here's the reality. If a hair on his wife's head, Chris Willingham's head, or any of those people that really were behind all that, if the hair on their head got touched by anybody, who would be the bad guy? Yeah.
They sitting around with the sheriff. The county board and the sheriffs are sitting around discussing options of murdering someone. Actually, murder him and his son. Discussing where to bury the body at, where to place the body at. Somebody else said they had an excavation machine, meaning they could dig the holes, and then the sheriff come back and say, these holes already dig. We don't have to do no work. Basically, all we got to do is cover them up. The woman come back and says, no, we got to think about it. They ran so many bad stories on us, basically, that the suspicion going to come back to us. It has no one in the whole picture has cared anything about taking life. They only care about what happens to them. But these are the people around America who are looked at as sheriffs, who are looked at as honorable people, who our words are trusted in today's courtroom. If black people don't wake up and realize what a farce of a system this is.
Yeah.
I've known 2 or 3 hitmen. They're very quiet guys. They would cut no bleeping mercy. Yeah. But if a hair on his wife's head, the reporter's wife's head, was touched. Laments the fact that lynchings are no longer common practice. That is no longer something you're allowed to do.
I heard the other day said, I heard 10 or 12 people go to the sheriff. I said, let's get 20. They don't have a goddamn clue what they're getting into.
But everybody.
I'm gonna tell you something. If it was back in the day, would Alan Marshall take a damn blackjack, whoop their ass, and throw them in the cell? I'd run the sheriff.
Yeah. Well, it's not like that no more.
I know. We're taking that old mud creek and hang them up with the damn rope.
Yeah.
But you can't do
The
that.
thing about it is,
They got more rights than we got.
So it was back in.
They got more rights than we got because you can't take them out, beat them, because you can't hang them up in the tree no more. They have more rights than we have. Do you see the lack of humanity in Europeans? Do you see how common practice and thought this is that they can sit around in the collective and speak this way with no reserve? Nobody is cognitive or conscious of what they're saying to the point where they're worried about how other people might take what they're saying. No, they're all comfortable with this rhetoric. This is all throughout America. This is not just one location.